But since I got a kitty in my lap, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So, how's everybody doing? End of a good day. We ended up going to Old Chicago for my birthday instead of the Chinese food place because the buffet wasn't closed. It was a buffet, of course. That's why you can get all you can eat tapioca. But they have to go get it for you because of the COVID stuff. So that's going to be awkward with 9 kids. Like, can I just have a bowl of shredded cheese for this child and some ice cream with some crackers crumbled up on it for this child? And it was going to be weird and awkward, so I decided just not to go. So we might have to go to Chicago. Some of the kids got pizza. How's everybody doing? Hey, Hannah, Alyssa, Amy, Tammy, hey, Cage and Rachel, Kathy, Justine, Christy. Good to see everybody. He's kind of curling up to go to sleep, I think. It's so nice to have a kitty cat loving on you, so I decided to stay right here. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Ended up being a good day. Kids made me some cards this morning, and we had church. Got to sing the songs I wanted to sing. And Aunt Susie and Melina came over and visited. And yeah, got that video edited. You guys probably saw that I put a video of the Halloween costumes out. So, kind of pizza did we get? They all got individuals. So I got a thin crust pepperoni pizza, and they didn't all get pizza. Some got like the kids' meals. Like Sophia got spaghetti with caramel apples, but she only had a couple bites of her spaghetti. But whatever. Claudia got a hamburger. She ate even less of the hamburger. So that's kind of how it is with kids, I guess. But I stopped deciding to care much about food battles. It's just not this kind of stress I want to have in my life. Oh, yep, you're right. I took the braid down. It didn't really serve any purpose to be up there. It's not like I touched it or whatever. It's just in my drawer. What does my shirt say? Well, you guys know that I have my company logo shirts that I wear all the time, and it's the same size Thomas wears, and of course Thomas wears about the same size pants as me, and so all my clothes end up in Thomas's department sometimes, and through some sort of kerfuffle, my light green shirt is missing, which it happens to be, weekend, so I didn't have to wear my business shirt. So this is it says Schrodinger's cat wanted dead and alive. I don't know if you guys know what Schrodinger's cat was, but apparently it's on Big Bang Theory. But I thought it was cool before it was in Big Bang Theory, so I thought, well, oh man, there's a shirt about Schrodinger's cat, but I realized that apparently Big Bang Theory made it popular, which is why there's probably a shirt about it. No, not a new shirt. I've had it forever. I just very rarely wear my other cool shirts anymore. You seem sad tonight? Well, you guys are good. I haven't been trying not to look like I'm sad, but yeah, it's a rough day. It's a rough day. I don't really care about my birthday. Birthdays aren't important, but for whatever reason, hearing birthday songs get me thinking and going. And we went out to a cousin's birthday the other night, and they were singing "Happy Birthday," and for whatever reason, singing "Happy Birthday" triggers that Andrea should be here or whatever. But no, I miss Andrea, but I'm mostly just, I don't know, sad about life in general, I guess. It is nice to have the kitty cat hanging out with me. I've been petting him all day, and he hadn't want to be around me. Cats are. To dogs, man is man's best friend, dog's best friend, but to cats, humans are the staff. All right, kitty cat? I couldn't get him to hang out with me today for nothing. He was staying away from me, but Your birthday sucked. No one showed up at all. Deeply hurt my feelings. Cry. Don't let it bother you. I invited a whole bunch of people out to eat, and only my mom came. That's just how it goes. Yeah, we're lucky to have him. It's supposed to be -9 tonight. I don't want to leave a kitty outside when it's -9. He's got a heated bed, and he would be fine, but he's in here. Hey there, Bonnie and Kola. Just me. Gratitude will push sadness away. I know this firsthand. You know what? I'm the first person to tell you that. I have a whole video I made about gratitude, an entire video about the key to life being thankfulness and gratitude. But I don't take my own. I don't practice what I preach. It was so easy for me to do it about everything else in my life. But where I'm at now, sometimes I just want to be miserable. Apparently. Yep, -9 tonight. Someone else said maybe -12. Sassy T, I think I remember her. She was pretty cool. Pretty nice. Oh, what are you gonna bite me? Are you gonna bite me? Rawr! Rawr! Are you gonna bite me? Irritating you? Does it hurt right there? You got an owie? Well, I meant for the adjust the camera a little bit better so you aren't sitting there looking at my entire bed or whatever, but the kitty cat came and made me not want to get up, so I didn't. I'd probably move the camera a whole lot closer, actually. No, fine. You don't want me to pet you no more, kitty cat? That's fine. Well, hey, Tara, good to see you. Did you get a cake? No, I'm not a cake person. I hate cakes, actually. I hate frosting, more specifically. Um, I used to get, my mom would make me a Rice Krispie treat cake once in a while. And Andrea would kind of pick that up for a while. That kind of got me right before, when I first set up this live, I scheduled it for about a half an hour, before it happened so that people could know that it was happening. And for whatever reason, somebody commented today on an old video, and it was "Happy birthday, old man Mills, turning 42." And I don't know that I even knew that she did that video. And it was a video of when I turned 42. And I was just watching it. It was whatever. It was our standard birthday routine, and I remembered the day. Then we were on the way home from the Chinese food place, and she starts singing "Happy Birthday" to. Oh man, I absolutely lost it. To hear her singing me "Happy Birthday" is really tough. But whatever. I'm trying not to let it get me down. So I knew today I'd love to do a live video. Very much enjoy it. So I like talking to you guys. You're like family. So here I am. So need a day to be sad and grieve. 3 years ago this Thanksgiving, my sister died, which also happened to be my birthday. So this time of year is sad for. Oh, I hear you, Cindy. I was thinking about it today. It doesn't do me any good to be sad. I know it's not beneficial for me to be sad or to wallow around and feel sorry for myself. I know it's not beneficial. I know it's not good. Um, I don't like doing it, but apparently I want to do it sometimes. So you have a hard time receiving support from others in your life. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. Um, I don't really open up to people very much. The closest I come to open up to people is probably you guys. Because I got to be really close to somebody to talk to them, or not know them at all. And while I do kind of know you guys, it's also like I don't know you. So it's one of those things. Birthdays were never important to me. You're right, Kathy. The birthday blues happen. I suppose they do, but I never cared about birthdays one way or the other. And it was never really important to me. But now it's just, it's just different, I guess. My whole life's changing. Thank you guys for the happy birthdays. Thank you, JF. Just watch that video where you went Pokemon hunting in the car park after dinner. Oh, yeah. Yep. It's funny how those things filter away. I keep thinking I don't know what to do with those thoughts and those memories. I don't know where to hold on to them or let them go. Obviously, you don't ever get rid of them, but day by day, it's all you can do. I suppose I don't really have a choice. Like getting your hair cut or an elevator. Or an elevator. I missed the reference there, Ann. So you took down Andrea's hair. Yep, I did that a little while ago. Oh, thank you, Cindy. 18 down to 2. It must be a question about my kids. Yep, my oldest is 18. My youngest just turned 2. Is it just turned 2? A couple months ago, I guess. Yes. The older you get, the more important they'll become. Oh, really? I figured it was the other way around. Ecclesiastes 3, there's time for every purpose. Yep, it's time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. Most people don't believe that, though. They like that part. You know, a time to kill and a time to heal. You know, time to be mad, time to give up. You know, all those things. There's times for those things. A lot of people don't think there's times for the bad ones, just for the good ones. Did the kids make you sweet cards? Yeah, they did. They're actually sitting over there. Kind of funny how that is. You know, what do you do with cards, right? You hold on to a card for what? You set it on a windowsill or on a thing somewhere, you tape them to something. Then after you think you've been long enough to not be able to feel guilty about it, you throw them away. I just got over it a long time ago. I decided I'm just throwing them all away. As soon as I appreciate the sentiment, I enjoy the card, I appreciate it, and then I throw it away. And then, but I have these little cute cards the kids make me, and I can't get rid of them. So I don't know. I just save them in a box, I guess, for now. 600 people here. Oh man. Well, that's a pretty big birthday party. Gonna carve pumpkins. We are. I have so many things to do. It's like I have so much extracurricular stuff to do with the kids. I'm planning on doing that carrot thing. I want to do lots of. It wasn't just the carrot thing. I want to do lots of little veggie tasting things. We got to carve pumpkins. I want to play some games. I just want to play games with them. You just play some random board games with them and just hang out with them and be with them. And then, you know, time comes down to it. I finally get some free time. It's like, I think I'll mope around instead. I think I'll be lonely instead. That sounds more fun, right? You seem to be lonely versus heavy grieving right now. Yeah, I think you pretty much got me pegged. I think you got me pegged. This is where she made the young girls a backpack, so the girls don't have them. Yep, we were just talking about that the other day. I'm debating how long I want them to keep them and how long I want to just take them from them and give them a different backpack, and then save them for when they are older and can really appreciate them. And it's easy to tell your feelings to someone you don't know. Absolutely, absolutely, Anne. Exactly right. After my mother died, we found cards she saved. Never seemed sentimental, but underneath she was. Aw. Live game night is fun. Yeah, it was fun. I keep thinking I want to redo the Pictionary thing. I think I can do it in a better way. It doesn't have to be on a phone. There's other ways you can do it. So I want to work on that and try to make it a more formal, slick setup for playing Pictionary with you guys. I think that Pictionary, live Pictionary thing has a potential to be a very good activity for a live YouTube audience. Magic the Gathering board game? Yeah, we do. We got the Rise of the Planeswalkers or whatever. We got that. And we played it once or twice, but you know, complicated board games. I love complicated games. Magic is one of the most complicated games of all time, so I love it. But complicated board games, getting them all set up, and it just is what a waste. I'd rather just sit down and play FaceTime with my kids or something. Happy birthday to me. Saw the Halloween video. What did everyone decide to be? So there's still some you guys didn't get to see because they were doing costumes at home. But so let's see. Thomas, I got him that dumb skeleton, $25 skeleton. He decided to be something else. So we got a skeleton that I don't know what to do with. But he's gonna him and Caden and who's the third one? Him, Caden. It's not Judah. Well, anyways, Thomas and Caden are both going as One Piece characters. I don't know if you know what One Piece is. It's a Japanese anime cartoon you like to watch. And Thomas is going to be Sanji, and Caden's going to be Zoro. So, and Asher's going to be a soldier or a German soldier. Judah's going to wear his armor. He's been working on his armor feverishly. He's got very good at it. Let's see. Justus is got a Five Nights at Freddy's mask that he's going to wear. Eden's going to be someone from the anime Fairy Tale. He's going to be Lucy Heartfilia. She's extremely happy about doing that. So that should be her stuff. Should be here soon. Eden Solomon's going to be a creeper. Sophia's going to be. She ended up being going to be an aerial mermaid. And Claudia's going to be a candy girl. And Hannah's going to be a baby shark, but the blue one, the daddy shark, apparently. That's the one she wanted to be. So, skeleton for homeschooling, yep. Where am I sitting? I'm in my room on my bed. Seemed like a nice, quiet place to be. And front porch on the swing. It's -9 outside. That's the thing. One of these days I'll do that, though. I had the kids wrap up. I ordered myself a little portable hammock. So that's my favorite gift. I bought it for myself, but it's a little hammock that wraps around trees really easy. Tom, did you get my birthday wishes on Facebook and explain who I am on here? I think so. I read some of them. I remember kind of a story about that. I had a lot of them, and I haven't gone through them all yet. So, glad to see you. But anyways, I'm planning on being able to ride my bike. I found some trees that are perfectly spaced apart by the lake on the side of the road, about 6 miles to the north. So that'd be about a 12-mile ride. So I'm really looking forward to that. German soldier like a Nazi? No, just a German soldier. He's got a helmet, a German soldier helmet, and he wants to dress up like a German soldier, apparently. Well, he was so cute at the store. She didn't want to be a witch. I was proud of her. Yeah, she just decided to change. She'd been talking about being a witch for forever, and all of a sudden she didn't. Oh, thank you, Maria. I appreciate all you guys. That's why I'm on here. You know, it was a hard day. It was a hard day for me. And oh, what, baby girl? Hold on. You got jammies on. I guess you're okay.
I was cleaning my bed and Eden is being mean to me because I was cleaning.
I see. Here, give me a hug. Okay. And you need to go to bed now.
Yeah,
okay?
why is the cat on your bed?
Because he wants to be. Yeah, he kind of is. Huh?
Little girls are very distracted.
Yes, little girls do get very distracted. Would you close the door, please, baby girl? Thank you. Old Facebook friend, love Andrea so much. Me too. We got that in common. We're just seeing a shirt wear instead of a polo. I know it does feel weird now. I have a lot of really clever, fun shirts I love to wear, but I haven't been into it for a while. Anyways, it was a hard day, so I was very much looking forward to talking to you guys because as soon as I start talking to you guys on live, all my bad feelings just kind of go away, at least temporarily. And usually when I'm done, I can usually ride that wave till I go to bed. And that's why I titled this. What did I title it? Something about guilty pleasure, because that's totally what it is. It's no other reason about hanging out with some friends that you guys are my friends. You're like a YouTube family. You really are a family to me. So I appreciate all of you guys. And you've been with us through the very beginning. You've seen all the things, and I'm grateful to have you all. Oh, the skeleton on the swing. Oh, I see, Lisa. Gotcha. That would so work. Yeah, the cat seems to really like me. He's just hanging out down here. Yeah, he was in my lap earlier, but this is the first he's been on the bed. I'm not sure what I think about it, but I've always liked the thought of a cat being in bed with you. So, um, yeah, I like that he wants to be in my room of all the rooms to be in. His name is Cornelius. The kids named him Cornelius. I don't know why, but Minicam. You can draw on there would be good for Pictionary. Okay, I'll check that out. Big party. That's right. 700 people. Well, that freaked the kitty cat out. My phone going off. You should try doing something different. Different shirt, different activity. Get out of the rut. It's funny you say that. That was going to be the title of our next shopping video. So we went shopping last night. It was a long night, and it was so cold. But I bought all kinds of stuff I've never bought before. A bunch of weird stuff. I'm not sure what was going on, but we got a bunch of different things on for food. And don't go getting crazy thinking I'm buying kale and veggies and stuff. That's no, we're still the Mills family after all. But different things, anyways. And I'm not sure what that means. I'm looking for some changes. I think felt the same. It's hard to talk to friends and family not experience a loss of a spouse. Kind of a comfort chatting with someone who's on the same path. That's true, Amazing Grace. It is, and you guys are like a cross section of my favorite part of the world. As a general rule, the people that subscribe to this channel, they like family, they like children, um, and those type. They're generally, you don't have to be religious, but generally they are, and that's kind of my zone for it's our zone for our kind of people we hang out with, and it's nice to be able to talk to a kind of a conglomerate of all just different people. It's just very nice. It keeps me busy, and my sadness goes away. We all love and support you, Tom. Never forget that. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you, Alyssa. I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful. Cornelius is a cat from Hocus Pocus. The kids have been having conversations as to where this came from and who actually came up with Cornelius. And so we've heard several theories from some of the kids. It's funny when your family's big enough for there to be theories and conspiracies in our own little community of the family. We're not exactly sure who's the one who first said Cornelius. And someone said it's from a YouTube channel, and someone else said it's from a show. So I don't know. It can be great. Make a pizza dip for your movie night. So good. It is. Oh, you made it? Oh, yeah, Tammy. It's great. It is super awesome. Time to mourn and a time to dance. That's right. Time to plant, time to uproot, time to keep, time to give away. You enjoy the carrots. Couldn't pay me enough to eat them. No, I haven't had them yet. Everybody keeps saying they're going to get slimy. They're still firm and seem great. We're going to do it. It's just like, man, when do I do it? It's not like I'm sitting here, watching TV all day, not making carrots. It's like the amount of time. It's like from the time I woke up, we did everything and thing and thing. Of course, today was a birthday, but as soon as I got home, it's give kids baths that didn't get baths, get them into bed, and then here I am. As soon as I had the free time, this is where I wanted to be. Who is that? this baby girl, it's not time anymore. It's time to go to bed. I'm going to have to give you demerit if you get up again. Little girls. Make the carrots now. Well, I'm not eating by myself. I can barely figure out how to cook carrots one time as opposed to cooking them 4 times. I'm hoping to have at least 4 different kinds of carrots. Of course, I can just cut them up, put ranch. That was some of the suggestions. Cut them up, dip them in ranch. Great, piece of cake. Steamed carrots. I don't know how to steam carrots. I don't have any kind of a steamer. I don't know if you can steam carrots without a steamer. I haven't looked into it yet. And then I gotta roast them. Someone said roasting is just putting oil and baking them. I can handle that. And I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna cook them a few different ways and try them different ways. Go through a bedroom to get to the bathroom. So weird. I go through the bedroom to get to the bathroom. No, they don't. The bathroom is shared between the 2 rooms. So there's a door going to the bathroom from the girls' room, and there's a door going to the bathroom from this room. So, I guess, yeah, you have to go through one of the bedrooms. Yeah, I mean, it's not weird. It's been part of our life for so long. But now that the boys have their own bathroom, and as soon as it's just totally cemented in our minds, it won't be a thing anymore. Girls will have their bathroom, boys will have their bathroom. So you can see the carrots in the microwave. See, that's what I was wanting to know. I could figure that out. Love carrots. Never had them with honey and brown sugar, but I'm going to try them that way. Explain your demerit system. Sure. Well, they get a demerit whenever we feel like it. Well, there's some set things you get demerits on. If they have a scoring violation in their schoolwork, meaning if they scored their work incorrectly or missed something they get a demerit instantly. Other than that, if they do anything bad or go against any of the rules, we can give them a demerit. If they get 3 demerits in a day, they get a detention, which usually involves sitting still for a while and doing some menial work. And if they get too many in a week, they cannot. Each privilege level, we have 3 privileges they can apply for, and that can be restricted depending if they've gotten too many demerits. So, Cornelius is staff now; he's the boss of you. That's pretty much true. Pretty much true. You get to share a bathroom with all those girls. Good luck. Well, we've had one bathroom with 11 people for a long time, so we've gotten adjusted to it. I've just now completed the 2nd bathroom, building that. So now we got 2 bathrooms. So it's pretty nice. Put them in a pot with some water, cook for about 15 minutes, yummy with butter and olive oil. Well, we'll try them. I got you guys left me a million ways to talk about how to cook carrots. So I plan on trying as many as I can handle, and we'll try them. Maybe tomorrow, because Tuesday is taco night. I can't do it Wednesday. Thursday is pizza night. So it's going to generally be Wednesday or Monday or Fridays or on the weekend. So maybe tomorrow I can get it done. Yeah, I'm not sure with teenage girls yet. That's coming. Yeah, I suppose so. Veggie peeler for the carrots, way easier. I do have a little peeler thing. The kitty cat is totally enjoying snoozing right here. What does my shirt say? It says wanted, dead and alive. Schrodinger's cat. You guys know what Schrodinger's cat is? Schrodinger's cat is both a cool thing and also the way that science is completely stupid 90% of the time. No. 25% of the time, science is completely irrational. That's one of the ways it is to me. I enjoy it. Do you ever move? I wouldn't want to move, but I mean, I'm not planning on moving. If I happen to meet a lady someday and she really wants to move, and then that would have to be considered. So I wouldn't move very far, though, if we had to move. Mary Cruz. Hi, Mary. Seeing a t-shirt. Yeah. As I was saying, my polo shirt, my light green polo shirt is it's missing in action. I thought either one of the kids, maybe got Thomas was wearing it, who knows, and it got put somewhere else. But is Corina sleeping inside now? Well, sort of. That's what the biggest thing that made you sad today. Um, it's mostly having special occasions by myself. You know, having to do all these things and no one to tell you good job or you did good or hang in there or any of that kind of a thing or that doesn't look like sort of to me. Yeah, that was kind of my point. Once your wife gets a hold of things, they disappear. Well, that doesn't happen to me anymore since she's dead. Where did you eat for your birthday? Was China buffet open? No, we ended up going to Old Chicago. The buffet, since the COVID, it was there, but you have to tell them what to get, and they go get it, which was going to be awkward with a picky family with a bunch of kids. It just wasn't going to work. Can I have another bowl of tapioca, please? Can I have another bowl of tapioca, please? Yep, we're going to have trick or treating. Yep. I'm sorry, Terry. So I visit about Hannah and Claudia. They do look alike. Yeah, they do. Bake bread, that's way more technical than anything you would do with carrots. That's true. That's true. But it's a matter of knowing, right? Like, do I know how to cook? I would generally say I don't. I mean, I know how to cook all the things I know how to make. If you tell me to cook carrots, I'd be like, what? How do I do that? What? I put a carrot in the microwave and push a minute? I mean, what? I mean, I have to know these things. I only know how to do the very fine, specific things that I know how to do. So, yep, I hear you. It is hard, Terry. I feel your pain. No trick or treating here. Well, they're still doing it here, thankfully. Tapioca looks sort of gross. Yeah, always told the kids. I used to joke when I was a kid that they were squid eyeballs, and that stuck, boy. That's all they talk about. And it was like one kid, like when Thomas was little, I called it squid eyeballs. He then passed it on to the next kid, and he passed it on to the next kid. They all talk about squid eyeballs now, and only me and Judah like it. Me and Judah love it, but other than that, which is nice because I make a whole giant batch. I make like a gallon of it at a time, and it only lasts me a few days. Not even that, a couple days, especially with Judah. If everybody ate it, well, I wouldn't get to have very much. So. Parents told me they were fish eyes. Yeah. Oh, since you 17 years since you lost your spouse. Wow, Terry. Did you ever have the desire to remarry, or is it not your thing? What makes you get out of bed each day? Sometimes I ask myself that question, but if it wasn't for my kids. Texas bought some candy, put in the handout. Don't know if we will have any trick or treaters. At one point, you didn't know how to bake better homemade pizza. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I'm very much a kind of person that masters things. I would like to make pizza. All right, I will master this pizza recipe. I want to make cinnamon rolls. Okay, I'll master this cinnamon roll. I'll master all the little things I know how to do, down to the exact specific angle that the stove thing's got to be at, and exactly how many minutes I got to do each thing. But if I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to do it. Of course, I can look it up, but I just feel like such a neophyte when it comes to cooking things. I don't know anything, you know. Back home, yeah, I did see Jordan Peterson back home. I saw he had a video up, so I might have to check him out again soon. What did you call squid eyeballs? Tapioca. I missed the squid eyeballs thing. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's the INTJ in you. Yeah, that is Karen. Karen. That's exactly right. Can you make a lie with your cinnamon rolls? I thought about doing that for sure. hmm I totally could. I'm very proud of the cinnamon rolls. My cinnamon rolls are good. No, it was hard. My grandkids are a joy and keeps me going. They are my reward for suffering through. I get up thinking of ways to help someone else, but it's hard, Tom. It really is. Watch YouTube cooking videos. I mean, I can do that. It's just like, I can learn anything. I can master anything. It's jack of all trades, master of none. That's never been me. I'm a master of all things I know how to do, and I suck at things I don't know how to do. That's generally my life. And yeah, I can learn how to do all the things I don't know how to do, but just for the sake of learning, I'm not going to do that. I have so little time as a single dad of 9 who homeschools and works full time with his own business. I have almost no free time. So I have to really ration it out. And of course, now I do guilty pleasure live stream, but it's my birthday, I guess. So, well, hey, Stella, glad you can make it. Welcome to the live chat. Did you get Eden to peel carrots for you? Since slice them up, since you can now throw them in a Ziploc bag with water, they're ready to cook. Oh, I can do that as far as that, how that goes. I see what you mean. Just get them all sliced and ready because I'm going to slice all of them. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. You get an iPhone 12? I just found out they had one. I used to be on the top of all knowing when all the new things come out, and I just found out, oh, there's a new phone, iPhone. No, I mean I don't. I probably won't. My iPhone 10 is working really good still. Um, I'll use it until I don't. I need no. Maybe I'll wait for the S or whatever if they come out with one of those. Master the roasted carrots recipe, then share it with us. So there you go. See, I keep thinking one of my plans that I have on the burner is to draft a couple kids a week to make dinner. So some of the older kids, maybe Thomas, Asher, Judah, maybe even Justus. Justus can make macaroni and cheese. He loves making macaroni and cheese. So maybe make them have them make dinner sometimes. That would give me more time. I keep thinking about ways to get my time back. Once I have more time, I can be a more proactive super dad. You know, the kind of dad that I was before, where I would help make their costumes. You know, I remember when I sat there for days and days making Lego figurine head masks for all the kids, and I can't do that now. I can't. But maybe someday I'll get to the point where I can do more cool things like that. Decorate for holidays, and you know, I don't know, work in the garden, those types of things. Try the Crystal Light strawberry lemonade, love it. No, I haven't, but when I on my last shopping trip, I got some watermelon lemonade. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm super stoked to try it. It sounds great. Thank you, Trisha. Because stay-at-home mom gives you the freedom, and solo parenting is different, Tom. Oh, I know that it is, but I don't want to rob my kids. I feel like I'm robbing my kids of the super dad experience. I want them to be able to have that. I don't want to just be a dad who's just barely hanging on, keeping them clean and getting them fed. I want to go back to them having awesome lives. It's hard to do that alone. I keep thinking God's going to throw me a bone one of these days, but who knows? What's your favorite Calypso? Strawberry lemonade for sure. Bob's wife sharing. I was a single mom for 17 years. God gave me his peace. I was content with where I was in life. Many times God opened and ministered to others the goodness of God. Wow. Used a crock pot. I have a crock pot. I'm still generally scared of it. I have cooked a roast in it like 3 times. That is my extent of my crock pot experience. So I know I can do more in it, and it would be a blessing, but I just haven't. I bet if you ask them, you're super to them. Yeah. Today, when I was just scheduled this video, and I told you I was watching that old birthday of mine on YouTube, Asher came in and told me, Dad, thank you so much for taking care of us and having to buy your own presents and pay for dinner. He was so sweet. I said, oh, it's okay, buddy. I don't care. And it was just so sweet. And he's a good boy. No, me and April broke up. Yeah, we have PayPal, but I haven't released that information. Then I met Bob. We've been married 14 years, and God brought us together. That's the part of your story that I was missing. You said you were Bob's wife, and then you said you were alone 17 years. But yeah, that's maybe I don't hope I don't know what God's got planned for me. I try not to think about it, so I don't panic and hyperventilate. Get a crock pot, air fryer. That's a dream boat of a son. Yeah, he is awesome. Well, we must getting up there in viewers. What are we at? 800. Chat's going pretty fast. Forgive me if I miss your question. Just ask it again. I'm very sorry. He did bless me with some wonderful kids. Crockpot liners too. I actually, you'll see this in the video. I said, oh, look at that crockpot liners. I've heard about those. And so I was going to buy them, and it said regular size. I'm like, I don't know. Do I have regular size? I have no idea. They didn't have any large size. So I was like, I had the Ninja crockpot. I'm pretty sure that's a big one. So I didn't get them. So it was a breakup over vegetables? Yeah, that's what it was. She wanted me to eat vegetables, and I said, no way. So, no. What kind of question is that? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Love it. I haven't read it, but we watched the movie. It's one of Andrea's favorite movies. Well, I take it back. There's one part in it that was one of her favorite things ever. When they try to go through the desert and they can't think and don't have a thought, and then that thought it comes up and hits them in the face, and she just thought that was so funny. Still have a bread machine. I do. And why don't I use that more again? I don't know. Again, it's a matter of time, and we're very much a routine family. And I have a routine. I'm still getting this new routine of living with 9 kids and not letting them die. And so, I'm trying to expand that. Like I'm saying, getting the kids maybe to make dinner a couple times a month, maybe, or something, and get more time to keep things clean and micromanage things. I'll get that figured out. Shopping together, and you said that. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Why don't you drink coffee? I cannot stand hot liquids. Hot liquids defy logic. They should be cold, ice cold. Everything should be ice cold. That having been said, I took a walk today when I was feeling sad, and I was walking around. It's 9 degrees outside, and no, it was 6. It's -9 tonight. Anyways, I was walking around. I walked pretty far. I walked to the coffee cup, and which is a gas station, and they had hot chocolate there. So I said, I'm gonna get hot chocolate. And the one time I ever kind of liked hot chocolate, Andrea got me a little pack of hot chocolate that had Butterfinger crumbs in it, and it was actually sort of good. And so I thought, I bet you I can make that. And so I got hot chocolate, I bought a Butterfinger, and I crumbled up, put it inside, and it was pretty good. I drank the whole thing. But generally, I can't stand hot liquids. We did get an air fryer, Morgan. Actually, we got a Ninja air fryer, and the kids have taken to it. I still don't know all that I can do with it yet, but it's the best pizza warmer upper thing that exists. Hey there, wooden spoon. That feels the same about coffee. I just made similarities between you two. Yep. Coffee is one I've always wanted to like coffee. It's hard on my I want to like list. I mean, you get to go down an aisle that smells so good, all kinds of different beans, and I can grind them up and this and that, and it just feels like I took some shower water and put a handful of dirt in it. Yum. You know, who wants that? Would you ever hire a digital or professional organizer? No, I wouldn't. I'm pretty good at organizing. Um, I do think I want to get maybe a maid possibly or a housekeeper, but I would be insulted to listen to someone else tell me how to organize because I feel like I'm very good at it. That's right, Tanya. Solidarity. Instapots change your life. I'm guilty. I don't know what an Instapot is. I have a crock pot, Ninja crock pot. Is that an Instapot? Or do I not know what I'm talking about? Or are you talking about the pressure cooker? I got one of those in the attic that Andrea had, and I'm scared of that too. But Max was a biker and killer clowns from outer space. Oh wow! I'm assuming that's a biker gang, huh? Or is that a movie? Andrea was a master organizer. She really was. She really was. Instapot's electric pressure cooker. Okay, okay, all right, pressure cooker. All right, I got one of those. I got one of those. Scared of the Instapot. I mean, I know I am. I know I have two valves for it. One's a high elevation pressure valve, and one's a not. And I think I'm supposed to use the high pressure elevation one. I can't really remember. I don't know how to do it or what it's for or how it works or why I would want to use one. I mean, I can't put a peanut butter sandwich inside of there and pressure cook it, right? I mean, I don't know what I do with such a thing. So, would you give us an update on the air fryers? You use it more? Sure, I will. Oh, I had the top of her pressure cooker fly off and fly around the room years ago. Scared us to death. That makes me want to try it. Although the technical stuff makes me want to try it, actually, for being honest. So, Thomas plan on moving out anytime soon. He does. It's not on his schedule of things to do. That's for sure. Andrew got a crock pot but for Thomas for Christmas. Maybe try some recipes out of that. Maybe so. Oh, I think you're the only person that said they want to like coffee. That's me. Well, hey, JCB Mama, thank you. Do I have a favorite Halloween candy? Food just doesn't taste super good to me at all these days, and so I generally want to like candy. I've been bragging for years of how I've never had a cavity, but I kind of wonder if maybe I got one. My teeth are getting kind of sensitive in one spot to sour stuff, and I don't know if that's it or not. But I just haven't enjoyed candy as much as I used to. Occasionally, I'll just get a candy bar when I'm randomly wanting it, but people have sent me candy, and I don't have a desire for it. Although whoever sent me these, I can't remember now, these giant Krabby Patties, boy, I can eat these all day. Well, these are great. They're giant. Yeah, I know I need to use a crock pot more frequently. Those crazy gummy bears, yeah, those are really good. I haven't had them in a while. Rachel Day just sent me some more, so now I have some to try again. So, well, that was from you, Tammy. That's right. Yep, these are heaven. They're wonderful and they're soft. See, the thing about Krabby Patties is they're so amazingly and freaky soft and stretchy, but they get old, and I'm convinced that they repackage them up and sell them again, whatever they don't sell next year. So they have a tendency to get hard. But I'm guessing these ones are brand new, and so they're super soft and like they're just so silky. No, thank you, Cora. Krabby Patty buns are the best. They are. They're so soft. Not a crappy patty. Krabby Patty. They're gummy hamburgers, but they're not normal gummies. They have some sort of ratio of marshmallow to gummy, but not like you normally would have, like you just glued a marshmallow onto it, which is a very, very soft gummy. I can't explain it. You rub it on your face. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's so soft that I want to just. I did that probably subconsciously. I just want to rub my face on it. It's so soft and silky smooth. You just want to rub it on your face or your lips or something. I know that's hilarious, but I can't help it. They're amazingly soft. It's freaky. Krabby Patty facial. Yeah, that's right. Where'd you buy the lights and lamps on your wall? I'm looking for something similar. Well, they didn't exist. Andrea made me make these. So these are um, lamps that she bought that I converted them to be on the wall. So, well, they're made for the wall, but they're made to be wired inside. And so I made this little deal, so I put them on a plug. I don't know where she got them from. Can't tell you. I want to rub Reese's cups on my face then. Well, see, there you go. We're getting into some weird part of YouTube right now. I was surprised that I liked them too. See? Exactly. Yeah, they do smell so good. They're heavenly. But when they first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this candy defies all logic. Candy falls into categories, right? You've got the chocolate candy, fine. You've got like the Butterfinger candy. You've got like gummy candy and then like sour candy. You've got, peanutty candy. You got all these different things. There's barely any ever new things ever made. And this Krabby Patty, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new ball game. But they've slid down over the years because they get old. They get old and hard, and the hard Krabby Patty is just not very good. Oh, it says wanted, dead and alive. Schrodinger's cat. You guys are familiar with Schrodinger's cat? It's a scientific principle where you do this virtual. It's a thought experiment, which is imagine you have a box, and this box has no windows. It's a totally sealed box. Inside the box is a cat, and the cat is hooked up to a machine that is going to poison it and kill it in a random interval of time, maybe tied to an isotope radiation deteriorating a certain level or something. And so there's no way to know if it'll be instant or if it'll be 10 years that the cat will be killed. And so since you can't ever check because the box is sealed, you don't know if the cat is dead or alive at any moment. You have no way of knowing. And so science tells us that the cat then can exist in a state of both dead and alive at the same time. And I think that's garbage. But besides the scientific part of it, I enjoy the experiment and I enjoy thinking about it. It provoked a lot of good thoughts, so I enjoy it. Your chemistry teacher just taught about this? Oh, really? Yep, it's awesome. It's awesome and it's foolish. When I first heard it, it sounded wise and scientific and neat. I enjoyed the thought experiment, but I have decided that is not how you do science. If you don't know something, it is not therefore true. I think it's a very, very poor thing. Of course, it's supposed to be tied to quantum mechanics, which quantum mechanics is already stupid. Well, hey, Candy. Wow. Happy early birthday, Tom. Do something nice for yourself. God bless you. Wow, that's so kind of you. Thank you. That's a pretty color. Do you get to pick your color? Oh, I think it must go on how much money it is. I don't see pink that often. Thank you. I can't see all the questions. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. Wave particle duality, but yes, it is just a thought experiment. Exactly right. Exactly right. You obviously probably know more about it than I do. But when I first heard it and learned about it, I thought it was fascinating. Then I thought it was genius, and then I thought it was stupid. So I think that's a false conclusion, and I painted it probably more simplistic than it actually is. But I still think it's foolish. I don't think a particle could be in two. Maybe a particle could be in two states at the same time. If that's true, I think that the cat experiment is a poor example of such a phenomenon. Do you know what elephant's foot is from the Chernobyl disaster? I can't say that I do. I feel like elephant's foot is a plant that Andreas told me about, but apart from that, I can't tell you. 10 Celsius, -9 is 17C. Yeah, that can be right. Absolutely is. Absolutely is. It's been down to -35 Fahrenheit before. It's a lot of fun because you can boil a pot of water and throw it up in the sky, and none of it hits the ground. It evaporates into mist. It's a very fun experiment we do with the kids sometimes. Did you ever consider a Zoom to interact with all of us and see us? I would totally do that. I mean, I don't know how that works. I mean, I know what Zoom works. I set it up for people, but I don't know how you do a Zoom with 700 people. But that would be fun. Might have to try that sometime. I'm 44. It's that critical thinking thing. I love critical thinking. I love my brain to be worked. I love my brain to be worked. I very much enjoy thinking about such things. Oh, thank you, Candy. Zoom limits to 300 people. Zoom would shut down with 788 people. I don't know. I have not tested the upper limits of that, but it'd be fun. I might have to just do it on Facebook. My Facebook thing is much smaller. All of us on Zoom, no one will be able to get a word in, everyone talking at once. It'd still be fun to try. I'd love to see you guys for a change. Of course, we'd probably get some gross trolls in there. That water and everything only works in dry cold, though. I think. If I were being honest, whoa, what's you guys doing? $50. So Casey Lynn, here's to you on your special day and for letting Andrea live on, not leaving us. We all love you so much. Thank you. Happy birthday. Aw, that's so sweet. Well, you guys are so kind. That's amazing. What are your thoughts on the classic trolley car philosophical moral demo? Ooh, I don't know that one. And I love those types of things. So I might have to look that up, especially if it's philosophical. I love philosophy. It's funny, when I took philosophy in college, I thought I was going to hate it. They were trying to make me not be a Christian. But I ended up battling the teacher, and it was a lot of fun. I love to battle people. Chinese room thought experiment. I haven't heard that one either. You guys are going to make me do a bunch of research. Probably see a lot of us on our PJs since we're staying home. Well, that's all right. I'm in PJs. Well, this is about PJs. Your special day and beautiful family. Oh, thank you, Joan. Gross trolls. Yeah, I was gonna say something more. Yeah. Anyways, You're going to do a Josephus book study? I haven't quite decided how we're going to do that yet. We'll talk about that next Bible study. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. What was your major? I was computer graphics. I majored computer graphics. I minored, or no, I majored in computer science degree. I have information technology in my bachelor's, and I kind of majored in computer graphics. So I kind of wanted to make video games. That was my original thought, that I'd be a video game creator. Um, I originally wanted to program, and then I took a programming class, and I'll never forget because we had to first learn to program in machine code, all ones and zeros. And I had to write a 12-line program in machine code that could tell the difference between a prime number and a regular number. And so it took me a weekend, and it took me many hours of thinking. And I thought of I think the most genius way. I think I did it in 10 lines, and I think I am a genius for figuring this out in such small lines. And so we went to the next class, and we had to enter our program, and then he tested it, and he inputted some numbers. Yep, 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 you passed. Good job. That was it. And I was like, they didn't want to know how I solved the problem. They didn't want to know how I did it. And it was like, this is a thankless job, not for me. I need people to see how awesome I am. And so then I decided maybe I'll do graphics. I can do the graphics for video games. So, oh, thank you, Casey Lynn. You guys are so sweet. I lost my husband. He was a handyman like you. I know nothing about cars or tools. We were struggling. Is that recent, Cheryl? I'm so sorry. Um, I kept thinking about what it would have been like if I had died instead of Andrea. Really, it's sad because all it, all I am is a paycheck. I mean, obviously I'm more than that, but that's where she would have struggled the most. And I had a lot of life insurance on me, still do, and so she would have been set for life. And it just seems like it's so much harder the other way around. I want to see what you were saying, Principal Gum. Trolley car problem says there are 5 people tied up on the tracks. Trolley will run them over if you pull a lever and switch the tracks, but one person will be killed on that track. There'll be 5 people tied on the tracks. The trolley will run them over, or you pull a lever and switch the tracks, but one person will be killed on that track. Well, seems like an easy one to me. You just switch the track. One person dying is better than 5. I'm assuming you have to make a choice, right? And you can't come up with another solution like fix the trolley or stop it in some way. I'll have to look that up and read about it. Video game developer, he works as a software developer now. Not a lot of games, not a video game jobs in Phoenix. Yeah, I hear you, Stacy. I always wonder what life would have been if I had done that. You're not just a paycheck, far from it. I mean, I know I'm not just a paycheck, but that's the big struggle. You know, I'm glad that she doesn't have to go through that. I miss my husband every second of every day. I was the luckiest girl in the world. He's got to be in the same boat as me, Cheryl. I'm not sure how long ago this happened, but I totally understand those feelings. Totally understand. I'd be a different man right now if I wasn't talking to a bunch of people in a room. So distractions are a thing. Someone in a room, message is written in Chinese into the room. Only thing in the room is a book. Book has replies to specific messages, but it doesn't translate. Do they know Chinese? I have to think about that one. That's one of those deep ones that I'm going to have to definitely think about. Still loving your mattress. Need to invest in a good mattress. Um, yeah, I mean, I like it. With the edges are a little too firm, so there's a little bit of roll to the center towards the edges, which I don't like. But apart from that, it's extremely comfortable. I think it's going to last a long time, so I'm very happy with it. He's been a nice man, but hands down, I think you have grown so much and your spirit is softened and is very welcoming and such a wonderful disposition for a testimony. I agree with that. I agree with that. Uh, that's what I've always said. Never seemed like a problem to me. I guess I don't know, for some people, you pull the lever, person's death is your fault. Well, I guess that it is. But especially from a Christian's point of view, because I don't know if that person's saved or not, death is something we all go through. The death ratio is 1-to-1. I heard here recently, and there's a scientific principle. There's actually a part of our brain dedicated to shutting off that principle in our lives. so that we all know that we're going to die, there's actually a part of our brain that shuts that off. So we think it won't happen to me. That's actually a part of the brain that does that. I don't know, it keeps us from going crazy, I guess. Whatever it is, I find that fascinating that that's a thing. But mine must be broken, or I've broken it willingly. I'm very conscious and cognizant of the fact that we're all going to die. And so some sooner than others. Funny that here I am, mourning my wife and being sad that I'm alone and crying like a baby. Um, if it wasn't my wife, anybody else, and that sounds terrible, but death is something I've dealt with my whole life. I lost a brother. My father passed away when I was young. I've lost grandparents and friends, and death is just part of life, and it doesn't usually bother me. It's only through this situation that it really, really does bother me. Pray the Lord takes me before my husband or children. My grandmother buried all of her children and some grandchildren. That's been a consolation for me, Supermama, is that the fact that Andrea will never had to go through loss of a spouse. It makes me happy that she doesn't ever have to feel like I feel. So if I have to carry that for her, then I can do that. Look into the Chinese room thought experiment. It deals with computers as well. Larger question is the experiment is if computers think. Oh yeah. There's a really awesome game called the Talos Principle. And I love it for 1,000 reasons. One, it's in VR. I need to play it again. Two, it deals with philosophy, AI, life and death, God, the devil, all those types of things in a very awesome way. I absolutely love it. And so, man, maybe I should play that with you guys sometime. I love that game. It's so well thought out. I forgot where I was going. What's that thing hanging in your wall next to the lamp? Oh, that's a magnet. The Bible, the Book of Genesis, the bird came first when he created all things, not the egg. Who says that? For all I know, he formed an egg. Probably a bird came first. It says he made each animal after his kind, but he could have made an egg. Andrea's here. I got it in the drawer here. Elephant's foot is so deadly that spending only 30 seconds near it will result in dizziness and fatigue. So that must be a radiation. 2 minutes, your cells begin to hemorrhage. By the time you hit the 5-minute mark, you're dead. Wow. What is that you're talking about? I forget. Oh, it was a game called the Talos Principle. It's a VR game. And in Greek, I don't know from Greek, talos means end or goal. And so it doesn't explain that. And there's this part, oh, it's such a good game. So I don't know how else to explain it, but you wake up and you realize you're in a robot. You don't know if you are a robot or maybe if you're an AI. None of this is explained to you. And you're trying to find your reason for existing. And before you know it, out of nowhere, booming voice from the sky tells you, I am Elohim. And of course, Elohim is the word for judge and God. And he tells you, I have created you, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I think the hidden nature of the game is probably written by a bunch of atheists who are making fun of God. I don't care. I don't see it that way. I see it as a very legitimate, real question asking thought experiment on life and existence, God and us, and I just think it's so, so good. I can't say enough good things about it. It's full of puzzles. It's a puzzle game at the end of the day. But I don't care about the puzzles. I care about the story that you do while you're doing these puzzles and in between. Oh, it's so good. I might have to play it with you guys on, sometime. Professor Layton game. I don't know. Someone else said something about Professor Layton. I don't know anything about that. So he wished he never wasted his money on college. That's generally me. You talking about me? I got my degree, but I wished I hadn't. Wished I had my money back. My mom passed 9 years ago today. My dad, I still went into life with cancer within a month after he found out she was sick. Yeah. The worst thing is being alone. Many are married to horrible people. Now that's a thought experiment by itself, Nancy D. Which is better, to be alone or be married to a horrible person? I can't tell you outright. I think I'd rather be married to a horrible person. Interesting thought experiment there. From someone who works on computers, do they think, no, it's impossible, they never will, and AI not only won't exist, can't exist? Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to pass off AI to us someday. I think someday they will tell us, we have invented AI, here it is. And I think it'll be done so well that we will have a hard time telling the difference. But it won't be something that can independently make its own decisions. It's always going to be something that we gave it the answers. Oh, excuse me. It's a family game you're all enjoying right now, but I couldn't hear it. Do you mind mentioning it again? Family game. It could have been Suro, which is Tsuro. It's a very great game. We love it. Worse is being in a marriage you're not happy in. That's one of the things that are pointless, right? The Bible lifts the unloved woman who was married. One of the saddest things that mentioned in the Bible. Why do you think college is a waste of money? I'm not saying it's a waste of money. It was a waste of money in my case. Um, it cost a lot of money. If we're being totally honest, I BS'd my way through college with a 4.0 grade point average. I didn't need to do it. Um, and all I get out of it is people say, did you go to school for this? And I say, yep, that's it. Yes, I took the A plus class and the network plus class and the security plus class, and I learned a bunch of things. I can tell you how many times a Cat 5 wire can twist in 1 foot to still function at peak performance, but it doesn't help me when I'm actually fixing computers. Most of that comes from experience, and so I got it. I'm not saying it's always the case. It depends on the job, depends on what you're doing. But in my particular case, I wish I hadn't go. When I was going, I was finishing up. We were Andrea still married. I went and did a lot of classes right out of high school, and then it was being paid for by a trust. Make a long story short, that eventually that guy was crooked and took it away, and I had to finish on my own, and I had to pay $1,600 a class in a time where me and Andrew were very poor, and they were very hard times, and I wished I could have gone back and not have been such a burden on the family. All ages could play a board game. That's probably it. The Suro. Tsuro. It's a dragon game. 10 people can play it. Finishes in 20 minutes. It's cute, creative, enjoyable. One of the best large family games, probably the best large family game we have. Easy. 21 again, right? Yeah, exactly. You gotta change my mind about college. Oh, wow, really? There's lots of things you need college for if you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist or something like that. But I think it's a lot of times overrated. I absolutely do. I don't want to get off into that because some people get really upset about that. And I don't mean to start that. Let's go back and talking about how I'm sad. I was married to an abusive man. He passed 17 months ago. I miss him for the good of times, but not for the bad. I hope no one saw into that thing I said about being alone or being in a bad relationship as looking too much into it or me making light of your situation. I don't mean any of those things. I just think that's an interesting equation and the kind of thing I like to think about. I'll be spending some time thinking about that as I take my walks and ride my bikes because I do a lot of pondering of life and existence and existentialism and understanding why I'm here and what's best for me and what's not best for me and how my thoughts for Andrew where they belong. And so those types of things I like to think about. I don't mean anything by them. Will we ever have a time machine? Would it change anything even if it still turned out the same? Well, no. Because if there was a time machine, someone would have already gone back and ruined time by now, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think it. I don't think it. I think if you even appeared in the past, just the appearing, you know, would affect the molecules in the air, which would have effects on all kinds of other things, and probably be very detrimental to everything. So I don't think it's possible. Now, that having been said, Einstein said you could never approach the speed of light because your mass would approach zero. That's also where you could theoretically travel in time. Now, if you had no mass, like I guess if you're a Christian, if you believe that your spirit has no mass, I believe our spirit has no mass. Theoretically, we'd be outside of time if our mass was zero. So I don't know what that means, but I can't wait to die in that respect. Open Pandora's box. Just think you are ready doesn't mean the person God has chosen for you is ready also. She will come when it's time. Thank you, Barbara. I hope so. Tom, if you believed it was better to be with the wrong spouse versus alone, would you be remarried by now, though? No? Ooh. Very apt, pointed question, Ella. I like it. Probably. Doesn't that tilt the scales to what I must believe? So, I mean, I'm not answering it as a legitimate question. I mean, I don't know the answer. But I guess the question there is wrong spouse. Whereas I forgot how that lady worded it. It was it was much more powerful the way she worded it. I can't remember now. It was be alone or with, was it an abusive spouse or, I don't remember what she said, but it was a much more interesting question. Remarried also. I have no desire to be with anyone else, but scared of the thought of growing old alone. I hear you. Well, hey, Andrea. Good to see you. That always weirds me out to say Andrea. You watch Our Social Dilemma on Netflix? No, I haven't. But I did write something. You guys, there's an anime I watched recently. Anime, by the way, is a Japanese cartoon. And you can watch a lot of them on Netflix. I've only had Netflix for a grand total of like 4 months or so. But they have something called Death Note. And I heard about it for forever, even a long time. And I finally watched it, and I love the philosophy in there. I was actually cheering for the bad guy. I just thought it was genius. Very intelligent show. I loved it. Amazing dad and your kids adore you. Please know you have an army of people supporting you and praying for you and your family. Thank you, Monica. I think about that a lot. I can't tell you the thousands of people that said they're praying for me. And then, don't take this the wrong way, but life still sucks a lot of times. So what does that mean? How does prayer work? Does hearing the prayer, what does God do? How does he react to such things? How does he, being outside of time, respond to things? I think a lot about those types of questions. Nursing requires college, but the practical experience enhances the book learning. Absolutely. I think it's genius the way that nursing programs make you go through and doctors, residence training, and all those types of things. I think it's genius. Andrea had been mean, abusive, and not a wonderful person. You would not be grieving so hard. She was a huge light far above any of us. Pray I took a lot from her. Yeah, you're right, Casey. You're right. But she still would have been mine. She would have been mine no matter how bad she could have been. She still would have been mine. I would have loved her just the same, even if she was abusive or whatever. That's why I think about that question. Alone or abusive, what would be better? That's difficult. Even when you say life sucks. It's tongue-in-cheek, Daisy Lou. I don't really think life sucks, but sometimes it feels like it sucks. I'm very much an exaggerator. Andrea would get mad at me sometimes. By get mad, not really get mad. See, I like to exaggerate. And so she would say, Tommy, don't say that. Because I'll go over the extreme and I'll say something. That's not true, Tommy. Like, okay, you're right. And I have to throttle it back. I say it mostly because I have kind of a humorous personality. So when I say, because life sucks sometimes, it doesn't mean I really think life sucks. So I apologize. Many people who believe computers can't think settle on the person in the room not knowing Chinese. I'm very much looking forward to thinking about that, Reagan. Because computers can't think, and they never will. Let me tell you, one of the things science, of course, again, you guys know I'm a Christian, right? And I love talking with atheists. Some of my best friends I grew up with are hardcore militant atheists, and I love talking with them. I very much enjoy a good debate. It's part of the INTJ personality. But a lot of science is centered around the fact that science is insecure. Science is insecure, and I mean that. So, like, for instance, if you heard the idea of alternate universes, all these comic book scenarios we see in movies about alternate universes where there's a bunch of universes existing outside of our universe where you've already done all the things you're going to do. There's no proof for an alternate universe. Never has been a shred of proof for an alternate universe, and there's never going to be a shred of proof for an alternate universe. The reason why there's a theory of alternate universes is because science understands the theist's argument of the rarity of life. That our life is impossibly rare. We've been looking all kinds of other planets. We're not seeing life anywhere. We're not finding life anywhere. And if you really study the people who are looking for it, they're realizing more and more that we're probably never going to find life anywhere else. And yet, if everything on life evolved from nothing, and we have so many different species on this planet, that life should be relatively common, but it's not. And so the argument goes something like this. Christians say that life is so rare that proves there's a God. Because if it's impossibly rare and nothing can form life, and we can't form life, then God must have created it. So science will say, oh, no, maybe it's really rare, but in an infinite universes, one of the universes had to get lucky and spawn life, and that's our universes, party for us. And it's a lot of things like that. That they live their life, like the Schrodinger's cat thing. That's another good example. There's a lot of things that science will hold and talk about because they're insecure of creationist arguments. I really believe that. And they'll never say that out loud, but we get those types of things a lot. They thought he was a ghost. Yeah, absolutely. Same thing with artificial intelligence. They have to think artificial intelligence will happen. Why? Because consciousness can't be real. Consciousness is a miracle. The idea that we can think independently of others is amazing. It's a miracle. Shouldn't happen, and absolutely points to a creator. And so they have to say that consciousness and thought, thinking things on yourself and understanding things on your own is common, and we'll figure it out. I'm going to program a computer to do just that. And so they have to think it's going to happen. In reality, it's not going to happen. Can't happen. So, random, why does reality exist? Oh man, that's a good question. I don't think we can answer it. In fact, I think it all exists for the glory of God, why he did it. God will definitely give you more than you can handle. Well, you can handle all things through Christ who strengthens me, huh? There actually isn't a Bible verse that says God won't give you more than you handle. That's a misinterpretation of not being tempted beyond what you can bear. Greek philosophy. I like Greek philosophy. Andrea kept you in check a gentle way. Yeah, she did. She was so sweet. Sometimes I would lose my patience with my kids, and I'd get mad, or maybe I'd raise my voice or get frustrated. And she would just put her hand on my hand and say, Tommy, they're just kids. Just take a deep breath. They don't mean anything by it. And I can hear her voice still now tell me those things when I start to get like that now. And she was so gentle. My husband died 3 months ago. I completely understand why sometimes say life sucks. The loneliness after losing your partner is difficult with admire your strength. Absolutely, just Grandma. What about past lives? I don't think there's any such thing as past lives. I have never seen a past life. I don't know how to explain a past life. So, oh, you lost your dog. I'm so sorry, Mabel. You had to put him down. I hated how to put Knuckles down. It was terrible. Shouldn't he be wearing a mask? Oh, please. Am I going to give myself COVID in my room? In fact, I'm going to nip that in the bud. Andrea had to work outside the home. What do you think she would have done? She did not want. She had a couple times. She talked about working at a donut shop for a day. She got up and made donuts, and she just didn't come back. And she worked at a flower shop for a summer or so. She enjoyed that, but I think that's about it. So she'd like to do something like that, work at a Hobby Lobby or something like that. What's the Greek word for philosophy? Well, it'd be philosophy. Phileo is love. Sophos is knowledge. Philosophy is actually Greek in itself. It means the love of knowledge. Pretty powerful. You ever printed a PCB? No, but that would be fun. PCBs, I feel like, are so still outside the realm of anything I can actually interact with. I can buy them, I can try to program them, but to print one, ooh, I would love to do that. Obviously, there's machines that can do that, but still. Oh yeah, she'd love that. Must love dogs. She would have loved that. She's. It makes me so sad when I saw Hobby Lobby going up, and she was so excited. I can't wait for Hobby Lobby. I can't wait for Hobby Lobby, and to know that it's up there now, and she never got to go there makes me so sad. Helping home birth, absolutely. She was actually taking the classes for being a midwife, for being an doula. I take it back. That's what she would have done, Casey Lynn. She would have been a midwife. She would have loved that. Loved that. How about Descartes' view on consciousness? Not familiar. Boy, Reagan, you got some. You're prodding me in all the right ways. I don't know of what you speak. My ignorance is showing. How does prayer work? Help? It's a good question. The Bible says that God knows what we need before we ask, and not to pray with many words like the pagans do. So He already knows. So prayer then is not something we do or interact with, but mainly talking to God, our friend, our Father, and seeing if He wants to respond to us and how that works. I don't know. Prayer is a mystery still to me too. It seems like a simple, basic part of Christianity, but I think it's not very well understood. Just pondering Luke. I missed that one. The mustard seed. Trying to understand the point of the verse when you don't see faith causing a miracle actually happens when many Christians lose faith. Absolutely. I think it was given in a time that things were different. But I've often heard people say, "Oh, the mountains in our life. That's why we can throw the mountain in the sea. It's like the mountains in our life." I don't know that he meant that or not. It seemed to be he literally meant that. But they were living in a time where the Holy Spirit was poured out upon for gifts to confirm their message. I don't think that's our time. I think those times are gone. That doesn't mean God can't do miracles today, but I think it might be different now than it was then. That's currently what I think about those things, but it's difficult. Prayer helps because of the way to have a relationship with Christ. I agree to that, Chris, 100%. There's several things we know prayer does do. It's not like I have a. There's a girl that I know who actually had a crush on for a long time, who was a friend of mine, my sister's, and she was a very godly person, and now she's a hardcore atheist, and it stems around things like that. She wanted me to read this book, and I did, about a guy who did a bunch of experiments on how, like, I think one of the experiments that sticks in my mind the most is he flipped a coin 50 times, logged the results. It came out to be about 50-50. And then he flipped a coin 50 times while praying for heads over and over again. And it was the same. There you go. No God. It was just a simplistic, sophistic approach to anything. Prayer doesn't work that way. It's not a currency system where you buy miracles. It's just not how it works. How it does work, I think, is still a bit of a mystery. The thing I think about the most when it comes to prayer is the parable of the unjust judge, and the part about who then among you, though you are evil, if your son asks for a fish, will give him a stone, or if asks for bread, will give him a snake. If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your heavenly Father give good gifts to His children? So I think there's some stories we can learn about prayer, but even still, I think prayer is a bit of a mystery. He wants us to do it, but why do it when it says He knows what we're going to say before we ask? So, yeah, it's still a mystery. We should be praying. It is not something like if you pray, you will get. That's not correct. Daughter is Reagan. Oh, really? Let's see. I'm missing some questions here. Walking down and doing dishes. Daughter is Reagan. What Bible verse tells us that time was different pertaining to the Holy Spirit? Um, I don't think there's a Bible verse that says it. There is where there are prophecies, there will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. blah blah blah. There's the part in Matthew 24 about until all these happens, not a letter will fall out of the law until everything's fulfilled. I think it's the idea. Remember when Jesus came? Why did Jesus do miracles? Jesus didn't do miracles so that the lame man would not be lame anymore. Every miracle had a point. Remember when he says that it was on the Sabbath, and here's a crippled man, everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do on the Sabbath, and he says, stretch out your hand in front of everybody. And then he tells them, is it righteous to heal on the Sabbath or not? No one says a word. So he heals the guy in front of them all. Then they want to kill him. So every miracle had a thing. Remember, at the point at the end when they were going to stone him, it says, if you do not believe in me, at least believe in evidence of the miracles themselves. So the miracles confirmed his message. And you can see that with what the Pharisees said, where it says, this man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. And he says, how can a sinner do such miraculous signs? And so it was the miracles he did that confirmed his message. And it's the same way with the disciples. The disciples, that they saw him live, they saw that he was the Christ, and they believe him. What proof do you have? And they're doing miracles. God would not empower somebody to do miracles if their message was not true. I think now that the Christ has been, all that has been settled. Jerusalem was destroyed. The old covenant was wiped away. That was the purpose for that time. And so, I mean, if God ever had purpose again, I think it's not going to be the same way. I don't believe the office of prophet works anymore. That doesn't mean God can't give prophecies. The idea of God needing one man to go talk to his church is not something I think that happens anymore. So I think it's more borne out by how things happen. There are some verses that mention it, but not specifically. What am I missing here? That's a bit of Krabby Patty. Ooh, that'd be fun. All prayers, energy can transform all things. Maybe. I can't say that it is or it isn't, honestly. When you're praying, usually asking him or talking to him, really not to question God. People don't tell God what to do, and they're praying to talk to him like he's their friend. I agree to that. Didn't he say there would be even greater things after Jesus was gone? Yeah, and there were. I mean, after Jesus, he ascended, and the disciples did even more amazing things. They even passed around handkerchiefs that Paul had touched, and they healed people. So, I mean, they did amazing things in the book of Acts. That was all after Jesus. I believe it's talking about those times. I don't think it's talking about our time. That doesn't mean God can't do more miraculous things now. I just think that's not what he was talking about. If you go back and you read what Matthew 24 says and what was going to happen, what he prophesied was going to happen, that was that kingdom, that transition period between the old and the new covenant, where they didn't know what was going on. That was a very miraculous time that they lived in. Have faith in Jesus. You have to fight against the carnal mind. Absolutely. We're trying to prove that God exists. Doesn't faith mean that we can't prove, and instead we believe and trust? Interesting question, Camille. You notice the Bible never makes the case. There's not a chapter in the Bible that says, this is why God exists. Here's my proof for the existence of God. You notice the Bible doesn't make that argument. It presupposes belief in God. Hebrews even says it much. No one can come to him unless they believe that he exists. So it's different than that. I don't know that it's worth trying to prove. I think God does exist, and I would dare say everybody knows God exists. Even the staunchest atheist knows that he exists. The Bible says that they suppress the truth in unrighteousness. I think that they know they're conscious. I think they know they're alive, and they see creation. I believe they know in their heart of hearts, everybody knows that God exists. But they don't want to believe that for one reason or another. Why do we say amen? I think the legend is it means so be it. May it be. So you say something, and then you say, may it be, like it was going to happen. I was abused by a Catholic priest. I went to a counseling. He's still a priest. Everyone's divorcing. That's a terrible thing, Andrea. Terrible. I'm so sorry. What a weight to have to carry. I don't even know what you say to somebody like that, other than the fact that I'm so sorry. Well, hey, Chad. Why do you think the so-called missing books of the Bible didn't men decide which books they put in the Bible? They absolutely did, Pamela. And I may be in the minority now that we got Chad here. We were just kind of talking about this. They had these councils, like the Council of Trent, where they decided which books in the Bible got to be in the Bible by a bunch of votes. What if they got some things wrong? I believe God's word's inspired, but it was 66 individual books. I'm not so sure it was even a wise thing to bind 66 different books together and call them one book. When you use it as a proof against atheism, they say, how can you prove that Jesus exists? Well, I got lots of books about it. We got one book, the Bible. When you got lots of different scrolls pertaining to Jesus, that's a lot different. I'm not sure it was a good idea to bind all the books together like that. There was lots of them, actually, Chad. Nicaea was another one. Trent is the one that I looked into briefly, the Council of Trent. And so I can't even remember which things were decided where, to be honest with you. But you know, people who go to church every week but curse like sailors during the week. Oh, that's very, very good. Absolutely. Consider what it says to the church of Laodicea. He says, you are neither hot nor cold. Since you are lukewarm, I will vomit you out of my mouth. I would rather you were one or the other. Consider the weight of that. Hot means on fire for God. Cold means opposed to God. Lukewarm is a hypocrite. That's what Jesus was warning against. He ate with the sinners to help them. He's not the healthy need a doctor, but the sick. He didn't eat with the Pharisees, the lukewarm people, the people that said they were God's children and they were not. So God says, I'd rather you one or the other. He'd rather them be cold and staunchly against him than to pretend to be for him and not be. I think it's a dangerous place to be, honest, the way I see it. Been watching your videos 3 months now from South Africa. God bless you. Oh, thanks, Mally. Thanks for hanging out with us. We use the neuroscience and the physiology behind the 613 commandments to explain why God wanted to follow his ways. Interesting. I'd be interested in a study like that. I think sometimes we can have a tendency to look too in depth at things like that. Like I read one time that made me literally laugh in my face, laugh out loud, about the Ezekiel bread thing, or the 7-grain Ezekiel bread, and they've researched these are the grains and blah blah blah, and it's supernaturally, it helps your body to preserve toxins and blah 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 and all this stuff, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. You can't prove what even grains Ezekiel had in those days, and more often than not, I think food is just food. You need it so you don't die. But I don't know that you can use the Bible to have some supernatural super bread. That doesn't mean 7th-grade bread is bad for you. I'm sure it's very healthy and good. I just don't think it's supernatural or anything. If you studied Esther, oh man, Esther is so great. It isn't found as any character of any historical text or language other than the Bible. What causes a struggle a bit in my faith? Actually, there's quite a bit about Esther. The kings that listed in Esther are absolutely real. They absolutely existed in those days. Esther is a character you may not find any record of. That doesn't necessarily surprise me. But think about it for a second. That goes back to binding the Bible again together. If I told you there's an ancient scroll that actually talks about Esther, it actually lists all about it, tells the whole story. Oh, really? Where is it? It's called the Book of Esther. Oh. But you see, because it's in the Bible, it makes us struggle with our faith because it's in the Bible. I can't believe it. It's in the Bible. We literally have this account here. And so, actually the interesting thing is that it talks in Esther about what happens when they cast the lot. They called it Purim for the word pur. And they celebrate Purim today. The Jews today still celebrate Purim. And that all goes back to Esther. And that comes through tradition alone. So if all the Jews today are celebrating Purim because of what happened in Esther's day, isn't that another proof that Esther actually was a real story? How do you deal with homeschool burnout? I'm a homeschooling mom that's in need of encouragement. Oh man, Bree, I tell you. Okay, well, I don't know what's in your particular situation, but if you're doing Alpha and Omega English, Becca Math, and I don't know, whatever, all these different curriculums for all these different subjects, in my opinion, stop it. make it easy on yourself. The benefit you get from micromanaging your homeschool curriculum is minute advantage over just making it easy on the mom. You do it easy on the mom. That's always the route you go, easy on the mom. So that's why we use ACE. ACE is probably the all-around easiest on the mom curriculum that exists under the sun. So that's why that's one of the biggest reasons we like to support it, apart from the fact that it's Christian based. Because if the mom quits or gets burned out, you lose the advantage of homeschooling. So it's much less important to have the best curriculum than it is to keep the mom happy. You can do it. Obscure Pharaoh digging Gaza is absolutely true, but the Bible mentions them collaborate with other sources to be taken seriously. There's a very interesting chronology difference where a lot of atheists are born on the fact that they go back and look at the time period of the Pharaoh, look for a Moses separating the Red Sea and leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and they find nothing. But they're looking in the upper kingdom, and instead it should be the middle kingdom. There's a man named David Rohl, R-O-H-L, who found out that they were looking about 200 years too late to find these things. And these people existed. There's actually a statue of Joseph, if you take this guy's understanding correctly, that exists in the Middle East today, wearing a coat of many colors even. And they just never realize, they never knew who he was. But look into David Rohl's timeline stuff. It's really cool, powerful stuff. Why are there minuscule rules in religion? I feel as though it'd be better directed towards a larger goal. I agree, Reagan. I think religion's crap. The Bible says religion that pleases God is to look after orphans and widows in their distress and keep oneself from being polluted by the world. I think religion's garbage. I think Jesus would tell you religion's garbage. I think having a relationship with God is what you should do. Now, if that says God wants you to do these things, I think you already know those things. I think you already know you shouldn't kill people. You shouldn't take somebody's wife. I think we already know those things. I don't think we need the rules to tell us. Now, if you're going into the minute details about, taking so many steps and, saying certain prayers and all that, not to make light of any of that, I think that's all pretty much garbage. Why doesn't religion abandon those rules and draw towards Jesus? Well, religion can do whatever it wants. I don't know what religion is. I've never met religion. Do bands go to, or as a nation, a person, do rock bands go to heaven when they die? What is it? It's an institution. Religion's an institution. It doesn't mean anything. I think that our state of the world, you can never know. Remember Elijah, after he killed all the prophets of Baal, he says, I'm the only one left, and they're trying to kill me too. And God says, I have reserved for myself 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. I'm sure he's like, whoa, really? 7,000? That's crazy. So there is an underculture that God knows. And it's very nice that God told Elijah that there were 7,000 that not bowed the knee to Baal. But I dare say he didn't need to tell him that. If he had never told him that, he would have just been depressed and anxious and thought he was the last one. He wouldn't have been. We don't need a news article to say that. So yeah, meanwhile, we're seeing Joel Osteen and Benny Hinn on TV making a mockery of Christianity. That doesn't mean that that's the state of Christianity. The true state of Christianity doesn't get reported. You're not going to know. You guys wouldn't know anything about my life if we didn't have this YouTube channel and Andrea hadn't made this. But we're serving God and spreading his kingdom and growing his kingdom one heart at a time. And we have been. And we're going to continue doing that for the rest of my life. Spreading God's kingdom, and you would never have known it. So, I'm sorry I wasn't listening to you guys. I wasn't reading any of your questions. I have to post them again. Look this up. Where he says, don't forget the Pharaoh would not have wanted to keep a record of Moses. Would he want to erase him from history? Yeah, but there are records. That's the thing. They're just looking 200 years too far in the future. Or too late. Determined to remove the name of God and Israelites from their writings, etc. I believe one was found in the stone they wrote on. Actually, there's quite a bit of information. You can actually find Semitic texts very early. It's actually a fascinating thing. We watched a whole video on it. I'm going to have to get you the name of it. But very, very awesome presentation of some of the history. Think people who take their own life go to heaven if they profess Jesus as Lord? Well, didn't oh my gosh, Samson, didn't Samson take his own life? And didn't God actually strengthen him to become supernaturally strong so he could push down the temple part and it fall on him? Yes, I don't think suicide is the unforgivable sin. None of us are going to get into heaven because of our righteousness or the things we do right. Nothing we do right can make us go to heaven. So we get there because of the imputed righteousness of Jesus and what he did. Our righteousness is as filthy rags to the Lord. You think Sunday is a Sabbath? No, Sunday is not the Sabbath. The very word means seventh. It would be Saturday. Now, I don't think you need to go to, I think that Sabbath keeping is, Hebrews 3 very much gives us a very good plain teaching on the Sabbath and what it really meant. Watch the video in Revelation. It is wonderful. Yay, that's awesome. If you watch that video and you still think it's wonderful and you're still here, then great. Disagree with Tom on this one profusely. Oh, yeah. He thinks, well, I mean, you think Samson went to hell? I mean, obviously you don't really disagree with me. So you may think Samson sinned. I do not. But I do not think he went to hell. I don't think we really disagree with what the person was saying. I'm a non-denomination Christian. I used to call myself that too, Pam. I used to say I was non-denominational, but now non-denominational is a denomination by itself, it seems like. Now I just say NA. I am none of the above. True Christian, would you die for your belief? Well, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a belief. Would I die for love? Would I die for what God wants me to do? Sure. Persecution, etc. can bear it? Yes, we can and should. In this world you will have tribulation, but fear not. I have overcome this world. We can too. I don't want to think they go to hell. I call myself a Bible-believing Christian. They don't. They don't, Pam. They don't go to hell. Again, God, remember Samson was blind and he lost his strength because he disobeyed God and got his hair cut. And God said, put me on the center of the belly. Says, God, please empower me one last time. Let me die with the Philistines. And he pushes the temple down and kills a bunch of Philistines and himself as well. If that was so wrong, God would not have empowered Samson to kill himself. Maybe you can argue that it was a sacrifice rather than killing yourself, but either way, what's the difference? That cat's still in bed sleeping? Yep. He's just chilling down there, pretty darn happy with himself. IT and Bible study video guy for GBN. Oh, that's awesome. You disagree with Tom on the Samson suicide analogy. I know you don't think Samson killed himself. We argued about that. Me and Chad got kind of heated on that, but that's okay. I don't mind. You can't murder yourself. You can't murder yourself. I think murder is. Let's not talk about this. We've been over this. Yes, we disagree. But again, you're not saying Samson went to hell. That's the thing we're talking about there. Me and you argue about sin, but this lady's talking about them not going to hell. So, yeah, there's no sin that's going to cast you to hell. For that matter, if you die and you don't, by that matter, if you haven't repented of a sin that you did before you died, does that mean you go to hell? No, it does not. Unrepentant sin does not send you to hell. God's blood forgives us of those sins. So. I do not believe that suicide sends you to hell. Of course, I cannot prove that. I have never killed myself and gone to heaven or hell. But I can tell you I believe the Samson analogy stands, that God supernaturally empowered Samson to take his own life. No, Samson is not a bad example. In fact, when I first, if you recall, when I first exposed you to this, you were like, okay. And then you went off on the idea that you were murdering yourself. I don't think you can murder. No one says, I'm going to murder myself. Murder is a premeditated action out of anger and hate towards an innocent person. I don't believe suicide is murder. I just don't. Thank you, Chad. I didn't see that. I'm not going to I'm just trying to offer some comfort. There's no reason for us to disagree over the sin level. I think it's a fine way to encourage people. Myself. No, I don't think it's a terrible analogy. I don't think it's a terrible analogy. Why do you not like to talk about end times? Oh, I actually love it. I love to talk about it. Most of you guys will think I'm crazy. So if you want to know my end time views, you can go right on there and and you can go watch it and have all my end time views on there. Existence devoid of God, and therefore all his blessings as well. Any person who dies without God lives in the existence of hell. See, that's the thing is hell is one of those topics people love to talk about. Love to talk about. But in reality, how useful is it for the light to contemplate the darkness? How dark is the darkness? Does it hurt in the darkness? Is it lonely in the darkness? How do you go to the darkness? What's the least I can do and still not go to the darkness? What's the most I can do and still get away with it? I mean, we have all these different conversations about hell. I guess hell's a scary place. But why don't we just serve God and seek after him with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind and forget about what happens if you don't? That's my idea. This is a heavy conversation after midnight. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to my life. What songs did you sing for church that you got to choose? Ooh, good question, Princess Bubblegum. So this is actually a little story here. Um, I think we've all gone through. I mean, I don't know. I think we go through phases in our walk with God, and even phases in our music and our worship. And I started out with hymns, right, when I was younger, and going to a Southern Baptist church, and very complicated, complex, theologically dense songs that I enjoyed. And then, maybe in the 80s, we got off into praise and worship, right? And praise and worship was simple, repetitive, and more upbeat and rocking, right? And I liked that too. And then after I've been in that a while, I thought this is too simple and too repetitive and kind of lame. And so then I wanted to go back to hymns and go back to the deeper side of the theologically dense stuff. And now where I'm at is a simple act of praise and worship to God, trying not to be flowery, trying not to be super beautiful and impress people. Again, I take a lot of stock in that verse that says, that don't use many words. Don't be like the pagans do, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Meaning that you think you can make God listen to your prayers by talking some awesome way. And I don't believe that. And so, anyways, I'm setting all up for the fact that I found certain songs leaping back to my mind from my childhood. And one of the ones that have always been my favorite worship song is this: I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I lift my voice to worship you. That song. It's very short. It's very simple. It just says, I love you, Lord. That's awesome. I think it's very powerful. And it says what my heart needs to say without having to say, I went to a sunset of autumn auburn blood dripping down the tears of a rhino. I mean, I don't have to try to impress God with my awesome song to just tell him that I love him. And so it's that one, Step by Step by Rich Mullins. Love that song. Super simple. I find that just coming to my mind. I haven't sung that song in 30 years. And all of a sudden I was singing it when I was praying the other day. And I thought, oh, okay, so I want to sing that one. And the other one is, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Righteous run into it, and they are safe. So, anyway, simple songs. Anyways, back to chat. So, oh yeah, well, you guys are just now getting my song. I don't want to try and be fake. I don't want to be a fake Christian. I don't want to be a Christian that just tries to obey rules and impress God, and because I'm scared of hell, and try my best to please this being in the sky so he doesn't zap me. That's not the relationship I want to have with God. And so I want to be a real Christian. I want to be on fire. And how would you serve God if nobody told you how to do it? If you had never been told how to honor God and how to be a Christian, and you just read the Bible, how would you be a Christian? That's the question I want to ask. Because nowadays, if you want to be a Christian, what do? Well, you got to go to church, you got to pray, and you got to sing songs. You got to try to convince your neighbor not to go to hell, and you have to not kick your cat. You need to, do 20 Hail Marys, and you make up all these rules for how a good Christian deserves to look or act. And I think it's garbage. So one of the things that my end time believes is it just goes back to the Bible. You just read the Bible, see what it says. How much easier is that than having to think about all the weird stuff I was currently thinking about at the end times? And so I take that view with all of my life now, from worship to study to child rearing to living life to understanding everything. I go back to what the Bible says and try not to listen or understand or think about anything I've been told previously on those matters. Hold the book. I'm not sure what book you're talking about. Worship just with what is on your heart to say. Absolutely. That's what David did. You read some of those Psalms and you realize they're songs. They suck. They don't rhyme. They're not in any sort of meter or verse. It's just a bunch of random words strung together. Sing that. It's funny because on the audio Bible here, when it says the Song of Moses, they sing it. You can actually hear them singing the Song of Moses in Hebrew on that chapter, and it's kind of, they did a good job. But you take the songs of Revelation, they're all complicated and long and don't have any kind of rhyme or reason to them. They don't really make any sense, and I think that's more powerful when they come from the heart. So. Precious than gold is another. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. Don't kick your cat. I won't kick the cat. But, that's the way I use that analogy because someone used it to me once upon a time. It was a very good analogy. Like you don't kick the cat and think you deserve a reward for not kicking the cat. Go home and tell everybody, I didn't kick my cat today. I wanted to. He was being a jerk, but I didn't kick him. I guess I'm going to heaven now. That's kind of the attitude we get, which is silly. I think the Bible is really hard to read and understand. I think it's not, actually, Tanya. There's definitely parts that are difficult. But go to what Jesus said. Listen to how Jesus talked to fishermen, unschooled men, and see if it's that hard to understand. It really isn't. Now, what he said may be different and difficult to comprehend and fun to talk about, but I think, honestly, it goes back down to the attitude of your heart. Probably follow the teachings of God versus the teaching of church and man. God has instructions for everything, including how to make an outhouse. Oh, yeah, Old Testament's full of that stuff. You want to get some boring stuff, go to Leviticus, read about the flowing robes and the temple dimensions and, blah, 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 and the pomegranates and the offerings for, the bulls and the rams and male lambs. And it's boring, lame stuff. But that was, again, written 4,000 years ago at a different time to a different people. If Jesus existed today and he came in our time and day, it would be a lot different than what we have here. Does Bible translation matter? Less than you think. But having some understanding of Greek to be able to read the original is kind of powerful. I'm looking out loud directed to the Father. That's my prayer. Just talk to him like he's in the room. Yep. I do my best to try to be friends with God in the best way we know how to be friends. I'm reading about the temple. Yeah, I always wanted to make some drawings of it. I did too. So that's true. That's true. Where you think, oh, is this many cubits by that, and this is outside of here. I still think even the modern ideas of how it actually looked, I think they're wrong on some ideas. But yeah, I did kind of like the part about the temple too. But let's go back to the flowing robes and how many chests on the breastplate, and it needs to be scarlet cloth and purple linen and blah 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 blah, and how many tassels have got to be on the poles and all that stuff. Well, hey, Kingsley's. Leviticus feels much more interesting when you learn to see the picture of Jesus that's in it. Isn't that the truth? There is a picture of Jesus in it. I think that's probably something to continue trying to see and study. Always comes back to the Greek. It does for me. Supposed to be -9 tonight. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. Not in the inner mood for entertaining. I can tell where that's going, so. Good Samaritan is one of my all-time favorite stories. There's a couple stories. They're at the top of the ladder in my mind for how to live life, the practical application of existence. And the Good Samaritan is one of them. The other one is the parable of the talents. Why are there so many different churches? Lutheran, Catholic, Pentecostal. There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. Matthew 9, 5, and 10. Jesus said in John 11, referring to Lazarus being dead as sleeping. Yeah, I talked about this recently. Ecclesiastes is very negative. But again, that would have been, in my opinion, before the resurrection that happened in 70 AD. So, yeah, they did sleep. Before the resurrection, when you died, you slept in the ground. But now, because of that, we get to go right to heaven when we die. I appreciate you guys. I feel so much better being able to talk to you guys. I was pretty miserable, to be honest with you. What time are we at? 11:30? I probably should wrap this up. What are we at on time-wise? 2 hours. I always seem to look at it right when it's 2 hours. Want to make Tom laugh? Well, good luck, Lydia. I laugh very rarely. Any laughs you heard me tonight are mostly courtesy laughs. Almost every time I laugh is a courtesy laugh. To really catch me. Andrea said that was her favorite sound, is to hear me really laugh. But it's got to catch me off guard. It's got to be completely unexpected. I almost did it on that Halloween video when Claudia said something. I just about laughed. We're all different outfits, denominations. Yep, that's the truth. Lorelei. Oh, I love that. Lorelei is charms the moon right from the sky. She will get inside of your mind, lovely Lorelei. Is it Irish? I love that legend. All those churches that face persecution and renewed Christians will emerge. I think there's already Christians emerged. I know where you're coming from, but I think we don't need to have a newspaper to know the truth of God's kingdom and his church, and his kingdom prevails. I don't think we need to see it prevail. It's the same way with Elijah. God's kingdom was in perfect state when he thought he was the only one left. And God says, hey, kingdom's great. I have 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. I'm doing awesome. You just think it's bad. And he laughed when I said, don't kick the cat today. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Slime Light again. You're welcome. God has been unfair to me. I've been lost all my life, Tom. Well, I can understand why that sounds unfair to you, but I think more often than not, we get lost on our own, and He allows us to. He's there for you if you want to turn to Him. This life isn't the end. Live for the next life, not this one. What is that to, Chad? Spread of Christianity animation. Oh, I see. Watch your efforts on that picnic bench was funny. Yeah. Andrea loves. I laugh on that one, but only because Andrea is laughing on that one. That would make me laugh when Andrea was laughing. I couldn't help it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nicole. All the kids in bed? Yeah, they're all in bed. They were in bed before I started. It's 11:30 at night. They darn well better be in bed. What carries over from this life to the next? One of the age-old questions. Age-old questions. We're not meant to know. If God came down right now and displayed His power for the whole world, they allowed scientists to come in and test it. He performed miracles in front of them and satisfied the whole world, doing all the things He wanted him to do. Everybody would believe in Him, right? No. What does the Bible say about Pharaoh? Pharaoh saw it rain frogs. He saw all the firstborn die from cattle to men. It didn't make him a Christian. So it's one of those things that, sure, we don't know what the next life is about, but we're not meant to, not supposed to. We're meant to be freaking out in this little world that we have. Why don't you let yourself laugh? I love to laugh, Cindy. Love it. It just doesn't, I just don't. I used to describe it as if somebody told you a joke and you've already heard it before, does it make you laugh? And that tends to be for me, whenever I see something funny, I see it coming. The thing that gets me is when I don't see it coming. When something completely out of the ordinary happens, completely random and unexpected, that's the time when I'll laugh. It'll totally catch me. Very well read and studied to the Bible. That's awesome, Mally. What was that question there? I was wondering, the gentleman that preached at Andrea's public burial, was that Grandpa Doug? Oh, his public burial? I don't remember it. That was all a blur to me. I was so sad. I barely paid attention to what was going on. It probably was. Tom, what did you look forward to when you wake up? I don't look forward to very much. He hardened his heart. He did harden his heart. And if you want to get back at it, God said that He would harden his heart. God in prayer always. What was that one? Always wonder if you're in the mood to answer it, of course. Oh, shoot. Say it. I hope I can see it the next time. Nothing in this life for me, perhaps the next. Not a bad way to learn to live, honestly. Must love dogs. I think that there's more to this life. I think God wants us to enjoy this life. But I don't blame you. In fact, I relate a lot to what you're saying right now. I do have a lot still in this life, but in a lot of me, I feel like there's not. Where your heart is, there your treasure will be. Excellent. Well displayed. Jesus is a light. Very apt use of that verse. You laugh at Hannah's cuteness often. I do laugh at it, but it's still not a legit laugh. I have learned that if you're in a room full of people and you're stone cold the whole time when funny things are happening, it doesn't look good for you. You look like a freak that nobody wants to be around. So I have a reflex that's an appropriate laugh at appropriate times, but it's not a real laugh. I can't remember the last time I laughed for real. It actually, shame to say, is probably Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's humor gets me because, again, it's unexpected, unpredictable. Rick and Morty's filthy, but it's got some funny stuff. Like legit laugh at. With all the different churches, how do you know which one is preaching right? I don't think you do. Who cares if they preach right? I think that's the wrong reason to go to church. I do not think the reason for church is there for the preaching. If you're waiting to get spiritual nutrition to go to church, you're going to starve to death. You go to church because that's where the body of Christ is. People. There's people there. People that worship God, that have spiritual gifts, that can encourage you and love on you and just be with them. That's the reason to go to church. You don't go to church for a lecture. You can watch a YouTube video for a lecture. That's one of the reasons why we home church. Nothing wrong with church, don't get me wrong. But church, you can't go to church because church isn't a building. Church isn't a formula. It's not a sermon. It's not songs. Your fake laugh. Tune to any video where I'm laughing, it's a fake laugh. So, if you have the gratitude journal or something, you need to give us look forward, joy, nature, God blessings. Yeah. The dad, the birthday video on Facebook, young Judah's a lot like Claudia, the silliness and mannerisms and Joker. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. On Podcast are hilarious. Yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of really good stuff. So you're saying you're a sociopath? Is that what it means if I don't laugh? Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, what's your question? Yeah, I missed it if you said it. You said the truth will set you free. That's the truth. My question is, why do people pray for something to happen in the future if God already has everything planned out before it unfolds? I still pray, but I always think about that. That's an awesome question. In fact, in my opinion, every question that becomes difficult that you can't answer comes to a variation of predestination versus free will. On one hand, the Calvinists make some good points about predestination. On the other hand, they're full of it because I do believe in free will. Can you have both? I think you can. You know, just because God knows what's going to happen, does that mean he caused it? If you pray something, but already your future's already written out, does that mean he didn't answer it, or he did answer it, or he's going to answer it? How does that work? Again, that's trying to comprehend a God who's all-powerful, all-knowing, outside of time. You can't do it. So stop trying to comprehend that. Which is why he tells us to pray, don't think you're going to impress him with many words, for he knows what you need before you ask him. That whole thing is a juxtaposition. It's an irony. Why pray if he knows what we need before we ask? And yet he still asks us to pray. So I don't think I can even answer that question, unfortunately. I can say it's out of our range. That doesn't mean we can't pray and then he can't do something that maybe he wasn't already going to do. How that works, I don't have to know. Free will or predestined? Yes, absolutely. There are definitely verses that say we're predestined. It says in Psalms, all of your days were written into my book before one of them came to be. And yet, we can see in Jonah that, those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs, right? So they're clinging to worthless idols. They could have had grace, but they didn't. So, you can go back and forth on this. And I don't think you can wrestle it out. I see it as a yin-yang. All your last faith, how do we ever know when you're truly serious? I'm always serious. And I think it's funny. I hear a joke. I think that's a funny joke. I'm not going to laugh snorting milk out my nose. Don't get me wrong. If I'm laughing, that means I really thought it was really funny. And I really enjoy that. And it feels great. But it doesn't mean it's a real laugh. It doesn't mean I don't think it's funny. It just means that I don't laugh. We are only comprehend time as linear, past, present, or future. God's timing isn't linear like that. That's how my understanding. Yes, and Liz, you're exactly right. There's some very neat scientific diagrams and some understandings to try to help us understand time, and they help. But I still think at the root of it, we can't understand it. I like the idea of a book. You flip to the end, flip to the middle, flip to any page you want. But I don't think it exactly works right. So we can't really ever comprehend it. Not laughing means there's no joy. I'm the same. No, I mean, I'm not saying there's no joy. I mean, I may laugh. New goal, make down, giggle, snort. Yeah, good luck. I welcome it, please. I'm not trying not to laugh. There's those videos on YouTube, 100% hardest. You try not to laugh videos, and I would always do those. And I normally would still laugh because, again, you feel like a crazy alien if everybody in the room is laughing and you don't. Now, if Andrea laughed, I would look at her and I would see the joy in her eyes. Sometimes she would say, oh my gosh, my eyelids are going to flip inside out, because she'll start laughing so hard that her eyes are squinting. And she says that her eyes are going to flip inside out. And she's having so much fun. And I will be real laughing with her. But not because I thought it was funny, but because I think she was so wonderful. And I love to see her laugh. And you say? It helps so much. How do I go on when I'm scared to open my front door? My phobia outside when I'm alone in the house. Thank you for your kind words. I don't think what you're wrestling with is demonic in any stretch, but I do think fear is learned, and people say fear is the unknown. Fear is only the unknown. The only thing that's scary is the unknown. And I think we have to come into the idea to realize that we don't know everything. But this would explain it. Nobody gets in their car and drives 60 miles an hour down the road and goes, wee like on a roller coaster. Why don't they do that? Cars go faster than roller coasters. There's no guardrails. There's no safety rails. They're more dangerous than a roller coaster. And yet, it's not thrilling to ride a car. Why is it not thrilling to ride a car? And it is thrilling to ride a roller coaster. Why? I've wrestled with that a lot for a long time. And the reason is because you think you're going to die. You could die on a roller coaster. You don't think you could die in a car, although you're much more likely to die in a car. So it's the kind of thing. It's the same thing. No one rides an elevator and goes, whoa, because it's only the fear of the unknown. Once you know everything there is about it and know that there's no danger in it, like a car, in your mind anyways, or an elevator, it's no longer scary anymore. And so the only thing you're ever afraid of is something you don't know or understand. It's the same way. People can be scared of whatever, bugs, because a bug is a small little thing. You don't quite know what it is. You think it's a demon. I swear, the first time I saw a potato bug, I swear I thought it was a demon. I thought, there's no way there's an ant that big. That's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was at nighttime. I was a little kid. I was absolutely freaked out. And then when I realized what a potato bug is and I researched it, I still think that they look like Satan, but I don't, I no longer am afraid of them in the same way. So I think there's some things we can never quite get to the end of things, to our phobias, our fears. But I think we can dwell on them too much. And if you continue to dwell on them and not go out of your house and realize that you're not going to die, that becomes more difficult. And it'll free you from those things. Fear of the Lord we should have. Yes, that word fear is, interestingly, people say, oh, it's like respect. It's not real fear, but it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Wrestling between those two types of fears, it's always the same fear, is a powerful thing. In order to inherit eternal life, do you believe this according to the will of God or the will of man? Oh, by the way, Chad, what were we talking about the other day? It was, sola scriptura. How do you know sola scriptura is true, Chad? How do you know it's true? I'm sure we'd agree that man must be born again. Yeah. From Idaho, love your channel. Oh, hi, Cindy. Sydney, good to see you. You can talk for ages and main talk. I love to talk. I love to reason. I love it. That's why I'm here right now. Define sola scriptura. That scripture alone is the only authority for faith and practice. And after we talked the other night, I looked it up. So that's my definition. That's the definition that the computer that internet gives. And so that's the one that I think about. How do you know that it's true? I think you have agoraphobia if you're leaving the house. Yeah, maybe. I have Andrea's hair that was above the bed. I put it in the drawer. Talk to your doctor. Yes. Depression of any type is demonic. I would disagree. I don't know how you could tell anyways. By faith. Well, if that's true, then it's not sola scriptura, Chad, because you got to only can use scripture for your authority for faith and practice. And so if you use faith to confirm sola scriptura, you have just defeated your own resolution. At least you admit it. Demons are real. I'm not saying that they're not. Faith comes by hearing. That's the truth. You're not following. If scripture alone is the only authority for faith and practice, but you can't verify that in the scripture, sola scriptura is self-defeating. That's my point. Because sola scriptura itself isn't in the scripture. So that's my point. I'm not saying I think I got you. That just seems more reasonable. Killers sure make you smile. They do. And don't hear that when I don't laugh, that I don't enjoy them or don't have fun. I don't have as much fun as you do. I do. I just don't find it funny enough to laugh. You never hear them. Do you have a choice? Well, that's a good one. Again, do you hear with your ears? Well, that's on genetic testing. In the Bible, you don't hear them using genes to find the future. No, you don't. But why not? You do have places where they talked about doing all the doctors could knew to do. Not everybody have to chat anything that to be defined. I don't know. I define sola scriptura, and you can give me your definition for sola scriptura, but if you can't find it in the Bible, you have a problem. Yeah, it's just something I thought about. So, yeah. Having to type your responses. That's true. That's true. I probably better wrap this up. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything. Except for actually, I just had a pizza. I forgot. I was on 200 characters. That's true. That is quite an annoying thing. At least I didn't have slow chat on. Asking, how do you get through Acts? I find it impossible to say the least. Get through Acts? Well, we're about to get through Acts. The last chapter is this coming on Wednesday. I'm not sure what you mean. Tell me I had headaches that would kill me for years. I took painkillers, fasted. Jesus delivered me from habitual pain and headaches. I had no idea. I thought I was normal. That's awesome. Jesus is a light. Very awesome. Praise God that He healed you. I personally don't think it was demonic oppressed, but what do I know? I'm just a mortal man. I think if you look at the powers that they even displayed in Jesus' day, everything a demon ever did, you'll find a pattern of what they can do and what they can't do, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to tread on that too difficultly. I don't mean to I'm not trying to make fun of anybody or anything. I'm just saying that they give a lot of power is given to things that don't necessarily have the power that they say they do. I'm glad God healed you. I'm not saying He didn't heal you. I would question whether it's demonic. I just don't know. I can never know, obviously. So. Many through you. Oh, thank you, Pazim. People believe a dead relative visited them, subconsciously making many things seem real. Well, I believe that people believe it. I just, I don't know. I'm just a man. I don't know what it's like to be dead. I don't know what it's like to be God or be in heaven or any of these things. All I can do is I have the Bible. I can study that. I can reason things with my mind. I don't have all the answers. I do have some answers that I can feel very confident about proclaiming what I have as being a true answer. And if I'm not confident about it, I won't. I'll never proclaim it as such. Yes, He did deliver you. Jesus is the light. I absolutely believe that. Healing's real. I'm not saying there's no miracles. If you somehow read that I believe there's no miracles today, I absolutely do not believe that. Miracles they're a thing. I just don't think they're a corporate thing. I think if there was a guy tomorrow who came with an old robe, said, I'm a prophet of God, I've been sent to these nations to tell you a message, I would think he's a false prophet and he's full of garbage. I don't think that office exists anymore because its purpose is different. The prophecies pointed to Jesus. That doesn't mean you can't have a dream and God can't prophetically reveal something to you about the future. He's done that to me. I just don't think offices. So if you're talking about an earlier conversation, I don't mean that those things can't happen today. I just mean, I'm trying to display that corporately, they don't have the same reasons for why they did it. Holy Spirit isn't empowering people in the same way as He is now. Unless fasting and praying. Well, fasting and praying is a good thing. But just because it was fasting and praying doesn't mean it's demonic. It did say, this kind come only by prayer. Actually, there's an interesting topic there about prayer and fasting. That word fasting isn't actually there in the original text. It's just by prayer. But if you look somewhere else, it says something different. But He said this kind comes out only by prayer. He was talking about a demon for sure. That doesn't mean if it only works by prayer and fasting that it was a demon. God can just deliver you from, whatever sickness you had that didn't work other ways. Oh, I see. I gotcha. I see what you're saying. Jesus is the light. I got you. I'm glad you shared. That's awesome. That's awesome. I've had some very interesting. It's funny that could be. Sometimes we can have struggles of faith, and yet we've had things in our life. I've had similar things like you, that I've seen God move like that. Isn't that amazing? And yet I can still so soon forget it. It's just amazing. Something like that. I'm just trying to start. I see. My bad. Jesus is a light. I always think I know where people are going and what they're saying, and I respond in kind, and that's gotten me into trouble. Did you guys ever watch? I'm sure you've seen Kung Fu Panda. A lot of you. There was a bonus DVD that came with Kung Fu Panda called The Furious Five, and it shows you some struggles each one had. And the one that's for Mantis, that is so me. The Mantis one, he's so fast, that people start talking to him, and then he starts. You gotta hurry because they are going to. That he says the jungle. He says no, the mountain, and they took my cow. No, son, no. crops, and he keeps finishing their sentences for them. And before you know it, he rushes off and gets trapped, and he didn't listen long enough for them to tell him to worry about traps. And I just so relate to that. I so think I know everything, and I'm telling everybody what their reasoning is and their logic is, and going where they go without actually letting them go there on their own. And it's something I have to struggle with myself. But what are your beliefs on fasting? Hmm. You're your family, you're a godly man, yet you don't preach at people with every word and action. Something become a conversation without doing it. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I think fasting is a good thing. I think today we don't do it. I do it, and um, I'm not saying you should, but I think people poo-poo it, and I think it can be something that God wants us to do. It's a good way to get close to Him. I've got lots of reasons about that. Maybe someday I'll talk about it, but I have to think about that. I have to think about what its ramifications would be if I talked about it with people and what I'd be condoning or not condoning, and I'm not sure about that. But I think it's overlooked, sadly. Wow, that's awesome, Chad. Saddest I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad you're back too, Slimelight. Tom, sorry we do not watch TV in our home. We don't either. I mean, we don't have service. I mean, we have um, a TV that we watch movies on, um, but we don't have service. Yeah, some kind of schedule for time off with homeschool, or do you just read the need? We have we get every birthday off. So the kids, if anybody has a birthday, everybody gets that day off from school. Then we get the traditional school holidays off. But other than that, if we need to take a day off, we just take one, but it's very rare. Just make a disclaimer at the beginning. That's probably how I would do it, Princess Bubblegum. I may talk about it more, but I have to get my thoughts more together about what I'd want to share and how I want to share it. There's some personal reasons why, um, you know, there's all those verses about don't be like the pagans. You should wash your heads, go in your room and hide what you do. Don't your right hand know what your left hand is doing. All those types of things. And so I fast twice a week and give a tenth of all I get. You don't want to be those types of people like it says in the Bible. And so, fasting is dangerous for diabetics. Oh, I'm sure. Normal TV free in America. In Australia, you plug in your TV and get all these main free. There are some free channels. It's been a while, but most of the time you need to have service. There's none out here. Alrighty, well, I probably better leave it go soon here. Be an informational discussion Bible study. Yeah, maybe we could have a fun, taboo topics day someday where I talk about all the things I tell you I don't want to talk about, as long as everybody promises not to get offended. There's amazing health benefits to fasting that people don't realize. All right, I definitely need to wrap up. I'm definitely want to get a snack before I go to bed, and it's getting pretty late. And I want to see Asher. I'm sure he's out there still, kind of waiting for Daddy to be done. Maybe he's gone to bed already. But alrighty, well, I thank you guys so much. I can't tell you how much of a good end of the day that this kind of a thing is for me. I had a rotten day, to be honest with you. I mean, I had fun with my kids. I had fun at my birthday things, but emotionally, I was a wreck. And I feel pretty good now. I can't tell you again how beneficial and therapeutic it is for me to just talk. And I mean, ultimately, I love to show off. I'm an arrogant know-it-all. I know that's the thing I struggle with most of my life. And so I feel like I know a lot of things and I want to share a lot of things. And there's a lot of people, you guys want to know things. And so I love to tell you. And that's just the kind of person that I am. And so I very much enjoy sharing the things that God has taught me, the things I've learned in my life. And so, in whatever reason, whatever it is, it really frees me of my pain for a while. And it's a huge blessing to me. And so I can't thank you guys enough for being here and listening to me. And my viewers say zero. How many are in here? Are we ending up with? It lasted the whole night. I'm sure it's already drapering off here, but someone tell me how many people are in here. I'm sure you guys will mention it, but anyways, I will see you guys later. I certainly appreciate all of you, and we'll do it again. I I can't thank you enough. Talk to you guys later. 5:22.